Alright, finally into the game. This is Vulcan Command versus CLG. Right away we do see Twisted Fate, Zinsao, and Thresh banned out. And it looks like a bit of a bug. We're seeing bans only going from the CLG side, which is rather amusing. Not sure exactly what's going on here, but I think we'll have a quick remake and that'll likely solve all the problems. Which is definitely a really interesting thing. Not sure exactly what it's going on, but yeah, they should just remake the game at this point, because we can't see anything of that Vulcan Command's doing. It looks like CLG can just ban out champions all day long. Still rather humorous. But it looks like Vulcan Command will pick up Nidalee, as apparently we're not going to be remaking. As they haven't taken it down yet, they haven't told him anything, but whatever floats their boat. Whatever floats their boat. Nidalee definitely a good choice to pick up first by Vulcan Command. It gives them a solid mid laner or top laner, so they can really just use her to pressure the map and enable a lot of split pushing. CLG here I expect to pick up Taric if he wasn't banned. Likely someone like Kale could be also up for picks. I think that would definitely be a really good choice here. Lee Sin would be a good choice. A lot of the early game junglers and supports are likely going to be what's chosen here, and it will be Sona and Lee Sin, two very strong early game champions. And they're looking to apply a lot of pressure early, and CLG really loves to just grab those 3 outer towers and really stranglehold the enemy team, force them to place extra wards, go really deep to actually place any of them, and it really just becomes a problem for the enemy team when they just can't get the money they need. Vulcan Command going here with Hecarim and Kog'maw. Really strong choices here, as Kog'Maw will give the ability to burst out all these very high tanky champions that CLG will likely pick up, and that the metagame has basically evolved to in the North American scene, where everyone kind of grabs health. Kog'Maw can just rip apart that health in a matter of seconds, and Hecarim has the ability to move around the map very quickly. CLG, interesting choice here with Vayne and Nasus. Nasus has gotten several buffs in this most recent patch, meaning he can farm a bit better and his ultimate's a bit stronger, but nothing incredibly powerful. But he still should be a very good late game champion. Vayne also amazing in the late game, and CLG might not be trying for that early game strategy, which they've liked to go for in the last few events. With Vayne and Nasus, they really want to play this out into the late game, and they can definitely do so. But it's going to come down to, can Vulcan Command get enough of an early lead to crush CLG before Vayne and Nasus get to that ultimate point. Looks like Singe will be the choice here, meaning a Nidalee. And we do have a Singed up top, meaning they are going to go for that mid-game style, as Singed and Alistar are incredibly powerful in the mid-game. Alistar's ability to just really single out someone like Vayne is incredibly strong, and just gives him the ability to really punish her in lane. It also has a sustain ability that can keep up with Sona, and actually even out-sustain Sona just due to the fact Alistar has a lot more mana for his heal ability, as it costs less. Syndra would definitely be a great choice here, as Vulcan Command has almost a protect the Kog'Maw strategy. With Nidalee able to poke, Kog'Maw able to poke, then as soon as you engage, you have Hecarim, Alistar, and Singe there just to punish you the second you try and enter. Syndra would be a great choice here, because she can just jump in there, throw out a few orbs, and then burst Kog'Maw down with her ultimate. It'd be a good pickup here by CLG, and it'll provide a lot of space for the Vayne and Nasus to pick up farm, which is going to be the big priority here for CLG. But definitely an interesting set of picks and bans here, and I definitely expect Vulcan Command to really try and get something going early, especially since they have Hecarim. Hecarim's a great early game jungler. Lee Sin also good, but he's more of a counter gank jungler, and he really does great when he can just kind of jump onto the minion then start something up. He's not very good fighting in the open, just as he needs that kind of protection, as he's fairly soft in the early game. He does bring great damage though, and really synergizes well with ganks. Nasus and Lee Sin both have attack speed slow, so it's going to be a real pain in the rear if this goes late, because Kog'Maw is going to be hit with that Wither, then immediately crippled, and he's going to lose 50-60% of his attack speed really quick, as Wither at the high levels is 70% on its own, cripples another 30 or 40%, and that is going to be an absolute terror for Vulcan Command if they get behind, or if they have any real problems in the early game. because especially they're going to have to shut down Nasus, and they're going to have to shut down Vayne. Because if either one of those two get fed and it goes late, I just don't see any way Vulcan Command can really take them down, outside of Kog'Maw just getting 1 or 2 good auto attacks in, and finishing them off with crits, but that's not very likely, as CLG did have a very good team to really protect those two fairly squishy champions. Looks like we are finally into the game. Fairly standard stuff going out, as we are likely going to see the lane swap come out from CLG, as virtually every North American team on the red side of things does the lane swap. Though it will look like Vulcan Command might be doing a lane swap of their own, with Kog'Maw and Alistar actually wanting to fight out Vayne. As Alistar, once he gets level 2, will be able to apply a lot of pressure to Vayne. And if he can knock Vayne into a wall or something, Kog'Maw can easily take him out of lane. Both of those lanes do have sustain, starting at level 2 or 3, depending upon how they decide to scale. I would expect Vulcan Command to at least try and invade a little bit, try and get that deep ward into the red buff of CLG. I think that's what CLG wants to do as well. They do place one. It's not very deep, but it will prevent those early ganks and see the early rotation of the jungler, which is exactly what you want if you're CLG, is they really have to not lose the early game. They don't have to necessarily win it, as they will outscale Vulcan Command, but it's just about not losing it. We do see a fairly deep ward for Alistar, looking to see the rotation of Lee Sin. I do believe the ward was spotted out, but I don't think there is a pink ward to actually do anything about it, so they are just going to be trading and really preventing the junglers from getting in there. Looks like we are going to have Kog'Maw and Alistar likely taking the wolves, possibly even taking the blue buff if they so choose, as we are going to have Hecarim starting on the red side. And if they do give the blue buff to Kog'Maw, they could easily push Vayne out of lane, just using that extra range and spam ability to really harm her and force Sona out of mana, because Sona would have to burn a lot of mana to actually deal with it. Nasus down bottom. Will he be actually given blue buff? I don't think so, as I think they really want to have it on the Lee Sin here. And it looks like we are not going to see the blue buff taken by Kog'Maw, as we are going to see Hecarim grabbing his red buff really quickly, likely going to be running straight over to the red side of things, as he does not even burn Smite on it, which is definitely an interesting choice. Lee Sin did not burn Smite as well, and we are going to see both sides up top with the 2v1 lanes. Vulcan Command really looking to punish Vayne up top. Vayne already burned a whole lot of mana, though they are about even on experience, as they both were able to take minions. Vayne does tumble forward, but not in range to actually hit Alistar. But Kog'Maw does have that extra bit of range, and Alistar is going to likely have to take his heal at level 2 at this point, instead of getting his combo. Lee Sin likely going to be heading up top with Hecarim, as both of them expect that level 2 to level 3 gank by the jungler, as that's pretty much standard for the top lane at this point. Though it looks like they're actually going to be rotating down, just clearing the jungle as normal. Kog'Maw taking a lot of damage from this Vayne, and Vayne's definitely at a major advantage here, as Sona does have the heal already, and has the ability to apply a bit more damage than Alistar. That's Sona's real advantage in lane, as she can just continually pump out either damage or healing. Lee Sin going to be heading up top, but he will be not spotted out by a ward. That is CLG's ward in that Tri-Brush. Looks like he's going to run all the way around. But this is definitely a big win for CLG, as Kog'Maw is completely zoned out of this lane. Lee Sin does have to run back, as there is just not a chance that he's going to be able to get in there. There is a pink ward placed in the top brush by CLG, which means there is not going to be any chance for a gank. Though it's it's Vulcan Command's ward. Thought CLG had a ward in there. They might also, but Vulcan Command just hasn't cleared it yet. Looks like we're going to see Alistar is taking a lot of damage, and he's not going to be able to fight anytime soon. Hecarim coming up here just to apply a little bit of pressure. But this Alistar pick not working out very well for Vulcan Command. He has noticed hit 3 and should be able to sustain the lane pretty well. Pink ward up there will spot Lee Sin out, but this looks like they might try and even dive it. Though not a great idea to dive at this point, as Alistar's combo will do a whole lot of damage. Hecarim is in the area, just trying to apply some pressure to Lee Sin and prevent Hecarim from farming, because Hecarim does scale much better than Lee Sin, just due to the fact his kit is absolutely amazing if you get the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and just continually apply that damage over time of it. Lee Sin running down through the mid lane. I expect him to try at least a gank on Nidalee here. I don't think it'll actually work, but at least apply a little bit of extra pressure as he could jump, safeguard to a minion, then throw out that Sonic Wave, but instead he just shows himself, and nothing really happening, as we do see Singed getting a good advantage over Nasus, as he does have the ability to just really punish Nasus, as Nasus has to get close. Nasus does have good lifesteal, but it's not enough against Singed, as that continual damage really just punishes Nasus in the early game. Once he gets a few levels up, he'll be fine, as his Siphoning Strike just does a ridiculous amount of damage and gives him a lot of lifesteal. But it's not until really that great until he hits the 6 or 7 and actually gets that second upgrade to his passive. Up top, Vayne and Sona are really just outdoing Kog'Maw here. They're down in CS a little bit, but they really just not lost at this point. And that's a huge win for this lane, as Vayne is incredibly soft in the early game and really just doesn't have the tools in the early game to make things happen, and she really has to survive until level 6, and she's doing more than that. She's basically even with Kog'Maw at this point. While Kog'Maw does improve with levels, it's not on the same as Vayne, even though he does scale incredibly well. Looks like Syndra will be going for the Rod of Ages, as we do see Nidalee with the Chalice of Harmony. Both junglers going in different directions, as we do see likely Wriggle's Lantern up onto Lee Sin in any moment, and Hecarim going for the Spirit of the Elder Lizard. Lee Sin coming in up top, but he will be spotted out by a ward in the river if he decides to make his move. Hecarim up in the area to counter gank, as we do see Alistar walking down bottom, and with that Lee Sin will likely back away, unless he wants to try and attack Alistar. But he won't. Syndra coming down bottom, and this will likely no. Syndra decides to back up. She was spotted away as Singed does run. Singed has hit level 6, same with Nasus. And with Singed at level 6, there's really no good way to gank him. Cleanse popped up by Kog'Maw, as we do see Hecarim running in there onto Sona. We are going to see Vayne likely pick up Kog'Maw's first blood will be picked up here onto Sona. But Vayne will pick up a kill of her own. Not a very good trade unless they can pick up Vayne. Looks like we do have Alistar up here. We do see the teleport coming in from Singed, and this will be a dead Vayne. Nothing she can do to survive. Just going to try and deny herself to the tower. She can keep running. Very good play there by Vulcan Command, picking up some much needed gold. Problem here now is Nasus is going to be able to free farm down bottom, pick up a lot of last hits with that Siphoning Strike, and he's going to be real terror, as he is right up there with the best of the farmers in the game. Definitely a good advantage here for CLG, even though they did get down a kill because of that gank. Vayne picked up the kill. Vayne has a BF sword already 7.5 minutes into the game, and she is going to really apply a lot of punishment to Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw did go with the pickaxe, trying to keep up, and he does have boots, which is a small advantage, as he will be able to back up and go in just a little better than Vayne. Vayne won't be able to back up as fast, and if Kog'Maw can get a few attacks on her after Vayne pops in with a few auto attacks, he will be able to win those trades, but it's not going to be a very good trade. Nidalee soloing up blue buff here, as she is the high farmer in the game, just barely, over Syndra, as they're basically trading farm in the mid. Neither one has had the ability to really do anything, as every time they rotated, wards are spotted out, and as you can see on the mini-map, there are wards everywhere around that middle lane, especially by CLG. Vulcan Command does have the one watching out their red buff of CLG, but they're likely going to have Nidalee place another one fairly soon, as soon as she goes back in the lane. Vayne has hit level 6, and is in a great spot here. Kog'Maw about to hit level 6 as well. Alistar should be hitting level 6 as well. It looks like we do see Alistar miss his combo and takes a whole lot of damage. Hecarim coming up top, but they are not able to capitalize. Alistar really just blowing that combo there. If he would have landed that, he would have had a very good opportunity to pick up a kill on Vayne, or at least apply a lot of damage to her. But instead they weren't able to, and they could have easily comboed that with Hecarim, who was getting really far down behind Lee Sin. So Lee Sin's up 15 minions at this point in time, even though Hecarim does have those 2 kills. So he's not that far down, but relatively speaking, it kind of hurts if you're down that many minions. Looks like we are going to have Singed doing a lot of damage to Nasus here, as Nasus has picked up that Chalice, likely going to be going into the Trinity Force. Hecarim spotted out as he does run right down through the river. Not sure exactly where he's going at this point. He does have a pink ward. He probably put that at Dragon. and probably rotate. You do see Hecarim coming down bottom, but Nasus is playing fairly defensively at this point, though it's hard to not play defensively against Singed. Ward does spot out Hecarim, as there is a pink ward placed by Hecarim. He will be able to clear this out. Up top, we're going to likely see a dive, as we do see a nice Alistar combo there, making great use of that Sona, or basically neutralizing that Sona ultimate. Vayne taking a lot of damage here, but the Lee Sin kick will finish him off. Lee Sin in a lot of trouble, as Nidalee does come up top, finishes off Vayne, making this a big move by Vulcan Command, and Vulcan Command will be able to pick up the double kill. As you see Nasus coming up top, Alistar in a lot of trouble. He will have enough for the Pulverize, and it will be enough to keep him safe. Vulcan Command picking up 3 kills there. Beautiful rotation by Nidalee. And exactly what you wanted to see. Great Alistar combo saved Kog'maw for a good bit of time. Kog'Maw still went down, which isn't what you want to have happen. But the big thing there is he bought a lot of time. That tower did a ridiculous amount of damage to Sona and Lee Sin, who are very soft at this point in the game. And just they capitalized on that beautifully. Nidalee came up just in time with her very fast movement speed. That's exactly what you want to see out of an AP Nidalee. And they even forced Nasus to burn his teleport. Lee Sin got to come down bottom, but he's no match for Singed at this point. Singed could probably tank him under the tower, though he does not have his ultimate up. But I think Singed is definitely going to apply a bit of pressure to Lee Sin here, and at least make Lee Sin have to go back to base. And yeah, Lee Sin not even staying in the lane. Just going to accept the fact that Singed is going to push these minion wave. And he is the high farmer in the game right now, sitting at 100 minions, with that Catalyst likely building into a Rod of Ages. Syndra coming up top. But she will likely run into Hecarim very soon. We do see the first tower of the game picked up by Singed, as he's done a very good job of just continually pushing that bottom lane. Syndra's still just waiting to come up here and get behind this top lane. Hecarim is in the area, so it will be a 3-on-3 fight. The question is, will they actually go for it? I think Syndra has flashed over the wall, but we are going to see a fight here, as we do see Kog'Maw in a lot of trouble. Syndra going to do a whole lot of damage, and Syndra will be able to finish off that kill. But only 1 kill for all that time wasted. Not sure it's worth it. But they do have their lanes covered everywhere else, so it was a pretty good use of time. It looks like they are going to actually go push this top tower as best they can, though Hecarim and Alistar have pretty good wave clearing abilities, as we do see them just kind of sitting up top here waiting to clear the wave. Syndra has decided to back up, buying more time for this Vayne to farm. And Kog'Maw is just not getting the farm he needs. Looks like he is going to be going for an Infinity Edge, though, as we are going to have Bloodthirster out onto Vayne. Nidalee picking up that Duran's ring. Not sure what she's actually going to be building into next, as we do see Singed going on to Nasus down bottom, and Singed just doing a whole lot of damage. Though Nasus does not have a really good way to escape at this point. He's down a level, and Singed will get the fling, but no, he flings him right into the wall. Doesn't actually get him flung over the wall or actually flung back, but right into it. Sona doing much better than Alistar, as Alistar just has that ruby sight stone, while we do see Sona with a bunch of wards, potions, boots, and the regular sight stone. Looks like we are going to have a Rod of Ages very soon up onto Syndra, as we do have Hecarim going for the Lock of the Iron Solari. Nasus likely going to be going for that Iron Solari as well, just to pick up that much needed cooldown reduction, as every little bit of cooldown reduction is amazing on Nasus, as it means he can pop out Siphoning Strikes more often. Really wish we can get a check on the Siphoning Strikes he's picked up so far and the bonus damage he has, as that's probably sitting at a plus 150 to 200 at this point in time. Can't really tell, but that's just my guess based on CS and the fact he's been left alone fairly well. Boots of Swiftness actually picked up on Nasus, trying to prevent all that crowd control from actually stopping him. It's a good choice, as he doesn't have a gap closer, and there's just a lot of slows coming out on Vulcan Command's side of things. And with that reduced slow duration, it's really going to help him actually get into the fight and get onto that back line. If he can get on the back line on Kog'Maw, land a Wither, that'll be a really easy fight for CLG. Unless they just get really caught out. But that should be what they're doing in all these fights. Vayne has now finished her Bloodthirster off. Rod of Ages complete on Syndra, and looks like we are going to have Hecarim going and trying to solo this dragon, as the rest of his lanes are in no position to help him out. He should have enough damage to do so. Nidalee could easily rotate over. He has pinked it up, and it looks like, yes, Nidalee will jump over. Big long-range spear and a heal from her, as you see Singe running in the area. And that will be a free dragon. First dragon of the game picked up by Vulcan Command. They have opened up the gap to a 3,000 gold lead. They do have an additional tower and 2 kills up on CLG. CLG farming slightly better than them, as their top lane and jungler are ahead. Bottom lane and Nasus and Syndra is basically even, and Nidalee is up slightly on Syndra, but the big difference here is Kog'Maw is only at 90 CS, while Vayne's at 115, and that gap is only going to grow bigger. They each do have a kill, and it's almost made up by the fact Kog'Maw has an additional assist. But it's still just not looking that great for Kog'Maw, as he feels very weak at this point in time. And we do have a pause coming out here. Not sure exactly why we paused, but we shall see. I really think they're just going to likely have a hardware issue, as that seems to be the case, as things such as mice and headsets not working. Not sure what else it could actually be, but that's just kind of what happens. Let's hope it's quick, as they really just, these pauses are incredibly annoying in tournament play, especially if they last more than about a minute, as it really stops the flow of the game. Teams could easily take that time to strategize, figure out where they're going to go next, instead of having to do it in the heat of the moment. But it looks like we are going to be back in there fairly quickly, as we do see Syndra reconnect. I think that was just a bug with her disconnecting or having a graphical glitch, as that seems to happen fairly often in these tournaments. At least once a game we have a pause. Usually it's towards the beginning, but this time it's right in the middle of the game, and it's just incredibly annoying. Okay, game back and going. Looks like it was just Syndra DCing. Lee Sin looking to come into this mid lane and apply some pressure, but I don't think he's going to get there in time, as Nidalee's just too mobile to really be ganked at this point. They had their opportunities early, but they just didn't take them, as they really wanted to focus on this top lane, where Kog'Maw and Alistar are doing okay versus Vayne and Sona. Not good, but Vayne definitely getting the better of this lane. And Vayne is going to be an incredibly powerful late-game champion, should they actually get there, and should she not be poked down by Nidalee. I think that's what Vulcan Command's going to really have to do this game, is just sit back, wait till Nidalee kills Vayne from 1.5 miles away, and then go in the fight. As I don't foresee them being able to do a whole lot other than that. Gold, we do see Singe doing a great job, as we have Nidalee leading the way with just about 6,000 gold, Singe right behind her, and several others right about that 5,000 gold mark. This really comes down to Nidalee picking up those 2 kills when she rotated top, and being the lead farmer at 160 minions as we approach the 1630 mark. Great job so far by Vulcan Command, having about a 2,000 gold lead overall. I think their window for winning the game is pretty high at this point in time. Even though late game, this game will be CLG's to lose, as it looks like we are going to have a gank coming up top from both junglers, as Nidalee and Syndra are going to be almost in the area as well. Neither side really wanting to engage at this point. The junglers have not been a huge factor, and it looks like we are going to have Nidalee taking down the second tower of the game for Vulcan Command. As you see, Syndra going to pop a lot of damage on her, but Nidalee is going to go down here. But no, she gets her heal off just in time. Less than 30 hit points remaining, and that ignite would have killed her with one more tick. Excellent play there by Nidalee, getting just far enough away that Syndra wouldn't follow. Kog'Maw has picked up his Infinity Edge now, as we do see Vayne working towards that Zeal. Likely a Phantom Dancer, as I don't think Static Shiv works too well on Vayne. Nidalee has picked up the needlessly large rod, likely to be building into a death cap, and has completed her Anathane's Unholy Grail. Singe picked up his Rod of Ages, and it looks like he's going to go for Riley's Crystal Scepter next, just to slow down the entire CLG team if they want to chase. And I think Vulcan Command just going to try and kite them to death. That's what it looks like they're building towards. With Singe, multiple forms of slowing, Nidalee spears, Kog'Maw slow, and Alistar to just kind of push everyone back. It's not a bad decision. Looks like CLG will finally realize Dragon has been taken, if they didn't know it already. Even though I suspect they realized it was gone, but I don't think they had a timer on it. Nidalee looking to rotate top, but she will be spotted out by a ward. Nice use of the wards there to place it right at the red buff. If she waited just a few seconds, that ward at Tri-Brush would have been gone. I definitely think Nidalee's going to realize she's been spotted as she does throw the spear out there. It does not connect. She will throw another spear out there. No, but does not land. 4 people in the top lane, but it looks like Nidalee just using that as an excuse to gank before picking up her own blue buff. Lee Sin up top as well, meaning Kog'Maw and Alistar are going to run quickly away. Syndra up there. And it looks like they are going to have a push by CLG. Nidalee going to be running up and trying to cut them off with a few spears of her own. But this will be a 4v4 fight. Singe does have his teleport, Nasus has his as well, and it could easily be a 5-on-5 fight. Nidalee doing a great job of just sitting back. I think she's just going to try and poke with spears or return to split pushing. Singe actually using this as a diversion to go pick up his blue buff. Nasus in the area as well, but Singe will finish it off before he actually gets a chance. Big win there by Vulcan Commander. Syndra really needs that blue buff to get those spears out before battle. She can't... that cooldown reduction is almost more important than the mana regeneration on it for her. As a few extra spears will really make her ultimate powerful. So it looks like she is going to be running into the mid lane again. Lee Sin not getting really aggressive. We do see the ultimate come out. But it's from Hecarim and Kog'Maw. Looks like we are going to have a dead Vayne, as Sona is going to be quickly pushed out of this tower. And an excellent play there by Vulcan Command of using the Alistar ultimate to initiate. And that's going to be one advantage they do have. Alistar is amazingly tanky and has great CC. And he's missed his combo once or twice, but he's really nailed it several times and turned around these fights. Looks like we are going to have Vulcan Command going for the red buff, and I don't think there's anything that's going to stop them, as Lee Sin really wants to run away. He is spotted out by a ward and will be forced to jump away as a nice spear hits, but he will be able to jump over to the golems with a nice play there. That will mean they lose red buff though, and a lot of control on the map, as Vulcan Command has placed those deep wards on the top side of the jungle and made it a real terror for Lee Sin to find any farm. Well, throughout all this, Singe is just continuing to split push. Spirit Vestige up onto Nasus as he looks to just sustain through Singe's damage and provide a bit more cooldown reduction, as that cooldown reduction means more siphoning strikes, and he's just going to build tanky from this point. I don't think he's actually going to pick up a point of damage. Vulcan Command going for the second dragon of the game, as I don't think there's any way CLG is going to contest it, not with Vayne that far away. And especially considering how fast they can kill it with Kog'Maw and Nidalee. Yeah, I don't even think they recognize dragons respawned yet. Or CLG has and just doesn't care about it. I think they're just not willing to take a team fight at this point, especially with Vayne and Lee Sin on the other side of the map. Though I think they're going to go for the trade and try and take this top tower. Though I think it's not going to work. As we see Kog'Maw and Alistar trying to go through the mid lane. No, they instead decide to try and go up top and defend the tower. I think a mid-push would have been the better option here, as they had that lane wide open. Syndra was fairly far away. With this top tower going to go down here unless we see Alistar really book it. And he does get the nice combo and a good bit of damage onto Vayne. Kog'Maw doing a lot of damage with that Infinity Edge and red buff, chunking Lee Sin down, despite Lee Sin's very high health pool at this point. Looks like we are going to have a Randuin's Omen up onto Hecarim fairly soon, as Nasus doing a great job of just withering Singed here and really just surviving that lane down bottom. They're even in farm, and I think that definitely favors Nasus, though it's not good to be trading with Singed, as he's going to be a real beast against this Vayne, especially if he picks up something like a Frozen Heart, and they can stack those attack speed slows, meaning you're not going to kill Singed, you're not going to kill Hecarim. And Vulcan Command doing a great job of just playing a poke comp, something CLG usually likes to play, and they're very well known for playing. They're just getting poked at this point in time. They are down about 4,000 gold, as the lanes are pushed out fairly well for both sides. Though Singe has had to go back, he does actually finish off that Rylai's Crystal Scepter to give him more ability power. I fully expect him to pick up an armor item next. Definitely something, at least a Warden's Mail. I don't know if he needs anything more than that at this point, but the Warden's Mail would give him really good damage reduction against Vayne, Nasus, and a little bit against Lee Sin and Sona. Kog'Maw going for that Infinity Edge as Vayne has just completed her Zeal. Death Cap likely soon to be up onto Syndra, as we do have a Death Cap finished up by Nidalee. Both of them farming incredibly well, as we do see Vayne getting knocked up, but she will be taken down here by Kog'Maw. Very good use of the Kog'Maw ultimate, and another beautiful combo by Alistar, knocking her right into the wall, giving her a perfect opportunity to hit with his ultimate. And a Vayne that can't stealth is in a lot of trouble in that fight, especially because Sona was just a little too far away placing wards. And Vulcan Command has done an absolutely wonderful job this game. They have really just dominated the map, taken every inch that has been given them, and really taken that few extra along with it. So looks like we are going to have Syndra doing a lot of damage to Kog'Maw, but Kog'Maw will actually cleanse there. Not sure exactly why he cleansed, as I think he was expecting the ultimate to come out from Syndra. Miss on the combo by Alistar. Means that we are going to have Hecarim just backing away. Though it looks like Syndra will be flashing forward. Hecarim ult does fly, and Hecarim is in perfectly fine shape. Though it is almost worth it, as we do see Syndra burning both of her cooldowns. Nasus coming up top, going to throw the Wither onto Kog'Maw. It looks like they are going to be going for Hecarim, as the rest of the team does jump in. Singed uses teleport as well, and I think they're going to be fairly safe, as Singed is not going to be able to be taken down. He's way too tanky at this point. And that poison trail really hurting the rest of the team. Without even getting into that fight, Vayne was at half health. Same thing with Lee Sin and Sona. That is just something you don't want to see happen, is if your Singe can keep you out that hard. And a lot of summoners were wasted there, on both sides. But a fairly even exchange, though we're likely going to see this top tower under a lot of pressure. But ouch, that Nidalee spear hurts. And that instantly stops the push by Sona and Vayne, seeing Nidalee up here, as one single spear just completely wrecked that Sona. If she would have taken another spear, she would have died without fail. And that's really just a dangerous thing. And one of the reasons why Nidalee's banned out of most games, especially against a really good Nidalee player, as those spears and barely missing Lee Sin there, as that almost should have hit him. But instead it doesn't. Looks like we are going to have Nasus just continuing to farm. And I really want to see his siphoning strikes. Come on, guys. Can you show me his siphoning strikes? I really want to see it. Looks like we are going to have Vayne taking up the red buff, and likely to go in this top lane. Pink ward placed down, just to try and deny a bit of vision from Vulcan Command. And it does its job, as it pushes Kog'Maw and Alistar back. If they had vision, they would have gone for it. It's like Hecarim jumping in the middle, and that will be a dead Syndra. Syndra doing a lot of damage in return, but not enough, as this Nidalee is fairly tanky. Zeke's actually going to be coming up onto Alistar, and I like this choice, as they're really focusing on Kog'Maw in this game. They're going to say, hey, if we get into a fight, Kog'Maw is all we need. As it looks like we are going to have them taking another tower, and they're going to continue to push, with Syndra down for still another 20 seconds. This is Vulcan Command's inhibitor to take, or at least the tower. Sin's going to be doing a good job of trying and stopping Nasus from recalling, and he does do so, which means this is a free inhibitor. They're not going to want to fight this, not with Nidalee spears coming out. And she will likely throw another one here, just try and get to Vayne. No such luck, as the inhibitor will go down to Kog'Maw. There we go. Lee Sin jumping in there, as Lee Sin does kick Hecarim away, but Lee Sin will be in a lot of trouble. The Warden's Mail doing a really good job, as we see Kog'Maw in a lot of trouble. Nasus does throw out the Wither. Lee Sin jumping in onto Hecarim, but Hecarim just too tanky, as we get a nice knockup by Nasus. Sin's throwing it back, and we are going to see Vayne in a lot of trouble. Poison almost taking her down. No kills exchanged, but everyone on the CLG side very hurt. Singe with the ultimate popped. Another spear comes out with Nidalee, hits Nasus, and he is almost dead. Singe almost dead as well, as Kog'Maw is going to take a lot of damage here. And the slow will mean that they should in, but Alistar actually getting the knockup over the wall. Kog'Maw the first casualty of war, as you see Vayne getting very low and likely to be taken out here by Nidalee, as she does have the pounce to finish her off. Double kill though by Vayne, picking up the Singed as well. Spear flies from Nidalee, but no hit. Though that was an inhibitor taken down by Vulcan Command. And they are going to be able to take Dragon off of this. A pretty good exchange. I think Vulcan Command overextended themselves a little bit, but they really wanted those several champions that were low health. Nasus was at 20% health, maybe. Sona was at that much, Vayne was at that much, but they just managed to kite them long enough on the CLG side for Vayne to really get her get her ultimate going. And Vayne looks to be going for a Trinity Force, I would say, at this point. Could go for a Frozen Mallet as well, but I think Trinity Force would be a good choice. It'd give her additional damage, a bit more mobility and crit, and just a very good item overall. We do see Nidalee picking up that Void Staff, as we see Randuin's Omen finished up onto Hecarim. Singed has finished off that Warden's Mail. Not sure if he's actually going to turn it into anything, but as long as he has that, it's a lot of protection against Vayne. Considering how much health he already has, it's going to be very hard for Vayne to actually kill him, and that's the only champion that's really going to be able to. Syndra's going to basically focusing her efforts on Kog'Maw and Nidalee, as they don't have a whole lot of health. Kog'Maw likely going for the Last Whisper next. Zeke's has been finished up by Alistar. And we do see an almost engagement there as Alistar does throw the ward over. It looks like we are going to have Vulcan Command vying for Baron at this point. Teleports are up on both of the people bottom lanes. We do see Alistar and Hecarim getting caught out just a little bit, but they don't want to fight. They don't know where the rest of the team is. They don't know the status on any of their summoners. Because even after that last fight, I'm not sure they were writing down when someone flashed, when someone ignited, and so forth, like you would do in the laning phase. Kog'Maw doing a good bit of damage here to this tower and likely to be able to take it down, as Nidalee's going to sit at the end. Vayne does get hit with the ultimate, same thing with Syndra, and ooh, that spear is very close. And Kog'Maw is just going to keep applying that ultimate to Vayne, and as long as he does so, Vayne's not going to get the team fight she wants. And that's really what won them last time, is Vayne got invisible, got those 1 or 2 auto attacks off to heal her up, and then was able to just dish out that damage. Nidalee's spear taking out the cannon minion, as these minions are really being a problem for Nidalee here, but spear does land on Sona, taking her down to about 30% of her health, as we do see another spear fly, and this Nidalee's doing a great job of just throwing out spears. That's all she needs to do. Another spear lands on Syndra, taking her down to about half. And I think CLG is just going to back away as they realize Singed is on a rampage down bottom. And yes, Vulcan Command see Vayne down bottom with a ward. And just say we're going to go take this tower. 6 towers to none, as Vulcan Command is basically dominated from the word go. They lost one of their lanes up top, but they really got it back with a few mistakes by CLG. CLG has just been overly aggressive a few times, as we do see Hecarim coming in here against Nasus. Nasus is going to be knocked in the corner and knocked up, taking a whole lot of damage here. But I don't think they're going to be able to actually kill him. But forcing his ultimate out and his Ghost is a really big win, as he's not going to be able to get in the back line. He needs Ghost to get onto Kog'Maw, get onto Nidalee, and just apply that pressure to the back line. So it looks like CLG is going to group up for a push mid and try and take down a tower, and at least keep these super minions at bay, as the inhibitor should respawn in about I think another 2 minutes or so. Singed down bottom picking up a tower, as we are going to have CLG take this mid one. I don't think there's any way they'd fight it, though they are going to do a lot of damage to Vayne, meaning she's not going to be able to enter this fight very soon. She needs the lifesteal of a bit of health, as one Nidalee spear could honestly take her out at this point in time. Singed just going to continue split pushing. He doesn't care. He's going to split push an inhibitor to death if someone doesn't come to stop him, and the only one that can stop him is Vayne. And if Vayne goes down to actually fight Singed, that's a big win for Vulcan Command, because Vayne's not going to be able to kill Singed, as it looks like we are going to see Baron attempted very soon. Nidalee just sitting around throwing spears, and Lee Sin takes a spear going below half health. Not sure what CLG can really do here, as they want to fight Singed, but they're not getting the opportunity. Syndra just barely dodges the spear up top. Alistar in a lot of trouble, as we do see them continuing on to Baron, but I think they're going to be forced back on the Vulcan Command side of things. They're very low on health, as you see Nidalee continuing to throw spears, and another miss. Great dodge there by Singed. Singed has actually teleported into the fight. We do see Nasus teleporting in as well, as both laners do burn their teleports. But Singed doing a lot of damage to that back line just by applying the poison and throwing down the slows. The entire team is just sitting in that pool by Singed. Hecarim does fly in there, and Nasus in a lot of trouble as he does get his ultimate back up. Vayne in a lot of trouble as well, as they just continually take that damage from Singed, and his spear just splitting Syndra and Vayne. Looks like we are going to have Vulcan Command actually going for Baron this time. Nasus in no position to fight. He's at about 15% health. Spear does fly from Nidalee, meaning Lee Sin's going to die the second he actually enters the fight. Spear on to Sona, taking her down to 10% health. And the Spear does fly, hitting Singed again, bringing him down to less than 5% health. And a trap actually finishes off Sona. Beautiful play there by Vulcan Command, and they have really dominated this game. They had some troubles early getting Kog'maw just behind, and Kog'maw's still behind 70 CS. But the thing is, that Nidalee is just really just pummeled CLG, and they don't have an answer for Singed. That's really what it comes down to. Singed has basically just completely zoned out the entire CLG team by himself. Well, he had a bit of help from Nidalee, as the slows from Singed basically set up Nidalee Spears perfectly, and CLG hasn't been able to engage a fight. And this is Vulcan Command playing a really good poke comp. We're going to see a replay of that Sona death. She just walks in there, from 20% health, she dies to a trap from Nidalee. That's just how strong Nidalee is, and why people almost want to ban her against a good Nidalee player, especially an AP Nidalee player. They don't worry about the AD Nidalee players as much, as she's a nuisance and a very viable threat, but she's not game-changing as an AD. But as this AP role, she is very game-changing. And that's basically been what this game's come down to. A few Nidalee Spears have just zoned CLG off of objectives, and Vulcan Command has just not allowed CLG to engage at any point in time. Nidalee Spear flies, but no hit. As we do see the slow pull from Singed coming out. Nasus trying to get in there on the Kog'maw, but he doesn't have the health. Sona almost taken out of the fight with a Nidalee Spear, and that will be an inhibitor taken down for free as Nidalee does finish it off with an auto attack. Looks like we are going to have a rotation here by Vulcan Command going down and pushing out the lanes. I thought they were going to go for the next one, but Vayne takes a spear and gets dropped to 40% health. Absolutely ridiculous amount of damage that coming from this Nidalee. Nidalee throws another spear. Looks like Lee Sin's trying to cut him off. And I think he will be able to catch out Alistar. But I don't think catching out Alistar is really that good a thing. He's sitting on a bunch of health and a bunch of cooldown reduction, as he does have the Zeeks and another Kindle Gem. Kog'maw actually able to save the top tower as he has completed off his last Whisper. Nidalee with Death Cap, Void Staff, and Athens, and going for what I suspect to be a Zhonya's Hourglass. Hecarim with the Randuin's Omen, Lock of the Iron Solari. Still hasn't completed that Spirit of the Elder Lizard, but has an additional Chain Vest. Singed has the Rod of Ages, Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and Randuin's Omen. Nasus with the Spirit Vestige. The Boots of Swiftness. Looks like he is going for the Frozen Heart. And the Lock of the Iron Solari. Lock of the Iron Solari up onto Lee Sin, in addition to a Giant's Belt and the Wriggle's Lantern. Syndra has picked up the Death Cap, Rod of Ages, and an additional Blasting Wand. Vayne has actually completed a Frozen Mallet, going for a lot more health, as she needs the health to actually survive those Nidalee Spears. We do see Nidalee with a Bloodthirster and a Phantom Dancer as well. Sona does have the Shirley's Reverie in addition to the Ruby Sightstone. And I'm not sure what CLG can do at this point. They just haven't had the ability to engage. If CLG can get a good engagement into a fight, they could win the fight. But with Baron buff on Vulcan Command, it's not going to be easy. And Nasus still takes 30% of his health with every single Nidalee Spear, despite him having fairly high magic resistance. And even Kog'Maw chunking him down. Syndra goes down below half health with one Nidalee Spear. And Sona has to go back to base with every single one. It's bad as she gets knocked down to 25% health, and they can't even fight after one or two of these spears. Tower goes down in the bottom lane, inhibitor soon to follow as Kog'Maw just pummels out damage. Though we do see Lee Sin trying to get in there and start something, he just doesn't have the ability to do so as he gets flinged around and taken out. Kog'Maw getting in a lot of trouble by Nasus, but Nasus just has to retreat. There's not enough damage. Hecarim coming in there, and this will be a good game. As we do see Nasus going down, second inhibitor taken down by Vulcan Command, and they have just dominated this game. That AP Nidalee doing wonders this game of just poking CLG down, and CLG couldn't engage. I thought CLG would have the better late game, but apparently I was wrong. This Nidalee is really doing work this game, and the Alistar and Singed have basically made good luck trying to get onto Nidalee. As we do see Vulcan Command finishing the game off, doing an absolutely wonderful job. And that's what you want to see out of a poke comp. absolute domination. Real beautiful play there. And that just came down to Nidalee being able to sit back, poke all game long, since CLG not having a good answer for it. They had no real way to engage outside of Lee Sin jumping in, but second Lee Sin jumped in, Alistar knocks him back. Great execution of a poke comp there by Vulcan Command. Thank you for watching Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more, follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.